10:03 on the fan. What's going on, everybody? How are you today? It's the Tiki and Tierney Show as we grind through a pretty, I think, fairly productive, given all the Rodgers discussions and conversations we've had. But we've grinded through the week as we inch toward the Super Bowl, right, Teak? What's happening, buddy?
Look, Julian Love has been a fodder for Philly fans because he's knocking Nick Sirianni and how he just has so much talent around him, including their quarterback. But I got to tell you something.
By the way, a quick aside, I got a problem with Julian.
Oh, no, he didn't say any of
I got a legitimate issue with Love. I mean, so Julian Love's on the show all year. Great guy. Really, really good guy. Every week we have him on the show, right? And a million ways sideways, I try to ask him whether you're going to guarantee a playoff spot. Is Daniel Jones the right guy? Say something inflammatory about the Commanders or the Eagles or the Cowboys or whomever. Nothing. His first TV appearance, he makes national headlines.
Of course he does, because he's a free agent.
Julian Love is dead to me. I'm just kidding.
But Julian Love said something interesting because he was talking about all the talent that the Philadelphia Eagles have, and he's technically not wrong. I wouldn't discount Nick Sirianni's role in this because Nick Sirianni, I think, is a very good coach and a motivator, and he's quirky, and he is what he is. And he has a quarterback who he's lifted to ridiculously maybe unexpected heights for some people. Him and Shane Steichen, the offensive coordinator, have done a great job. But I got to tell you, we keep having this conversation about quarterbacks in New York and who's going to the Jets. What are the Giants going to do with Daniel Jones? The more I think and contemplate where the Giants are and what their coaching staff looks like with Dable and Mike Kafka and all the other guys there, including my quarterback from UVA, Mike Groh, who's the wide receiver coach, they need to do everything they can to hold on to Daniel Jones. And here's the reason why, BT.
Okay.
If he keeps growing like we saw him grow this year, like we expect him to do, like Josh Allen did in Buffalo, the New York Giants will have the best quarterback in the NFC East. And that's with Jalen Hurts almost being an MVP this season. Right? He's got all this talent around him, Jalen Hurts does. So we know how he got to that point. What happens when Daniel Jones, who was so good this year for us as a Giants organization, and then he gets talent around him? They find a way to hang on to Saquon Barkley. They upgrade the offensive line. I mean, the staff, including Dable, are at the Senior Bowl, not because they're looking at quarterbacks. They're looking at all these offensive linemen, right? There's a bunch of guards and centers that are down there. That's the focus. That's why this team is down there. They're doing all of that so they can put better talent around Daniel Jones, because I truly believe Daniel Jones can be the best quarterback in the NFC East. We've already talked about how he can grow into a top 10 quarterback if he keeps evolving and growing in this new system. I think Daniel's, the sky's the limit for him, and we haven't even scratched it yet, like how good that he can be. And that's saying a lot. Dak's gotten paid. Nobody trusts him anymore.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts has tons of talent around him, so I guess we know he's really good, but I think Daniel Jones can be better. I really do.
Okay, all right, so there's a couple things to unpack there. First of all, I agree. I think Daniel Jones can be fantastic. When you look at the state of the NFC East quarterbacks, Commanders, kind of like the Jets, perpetually searching for a quarterback. Forget about them.
They'll be drafting somebody.
And then in 3 years, draft somebody else or sign some, pedestrian veteran who does nothing. So you're not worried about the Commanders. Dak has clearly regressed. Now he's going to have a new offensive coordinator. Kellen Moore's gone, as we know.
Sounds like Jerry Jones wants Mike McCarthy to call plays.
Yeah,
now.
Well, not sounds. He's going to.
Yeah.
He flat out, he said that. McCarthy said that. So that's either going to, help Dak or it's going to stabilize Dak. But I don't disagree with weapons commensurate to Dak. I believe that Daniel Jones is better. Myself, I think he's got more natural talent. All right, and then you look at the Jalen Hurts situation. Listen, I really like Jalen Hurts. Like everybody, when they drafted him in round 2, I was mocking them. Yeah. They clearly got it right. But I'm not convinced that Jalen Hurts is in the early stage of a 12, 13-year Hall of Fame career. Tap him. That's what I tell my son when he gets a little bit. Tap him, buddy. Relax. Tap it. Tap the brakes. I like Hurts. I tap him to a degree. So I don't disagree with your premise, okay? I think I've got a solution, though, that satisfies the Giants still needing to get a little more intel on
let me
Jones.
hear it. Let me hear it. Because I want him.
I do too.
I don't want anybody else. I don't want him to get taken and somebody else values him more, and all of a sudden we're starting all over again. I guess we have a bridge in Tyrod Taylor who's a really good player.
Nobody wants to watch Tyrod Taylor play. I mean, we respect him.
I love Tyrod Taylor.
Exactly.
But I agree
backup.
with you. I agree with you.
We love him as a backup.
I want him as my nice, warm, heavy weighted security blanket.
Somebody pulls a hand, go get him, Tyrod. Win 2 out of 3 games.
That's what I want him for.
I'm with you on that.
So I don't want Daniel Jones to go anywhere because I really believe. I believe in his upside.
I do too. And by the way, his value, which was already high entering the offseason, spiked a little bit with the Brady news because there's an absence of really qualified, intriguing, ascending, and that's the important part about Daniel Jones, quarterbacks that will be on the market or could be on the market.
The free
and
agents.
there's a whole lot of teams that are chasing quarterbacks. So Daniel Jones made a few bucks the moment Brady looked into that camera and said, I'm out. All right, here's my solution. I don't think that you'll like it, but I think it actually satisfies everything.
Okay.
I'm slapping him with the non-exclusive. All right?
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, and many of you do, but I want to make sure we're on the same page, the non-exclusive is basically the top 5 cap hits from the previous 5 years. They get the median there, and then they adjust it to the cap for this year.
The new cap, yes.
The new cap, which is about 220.
224, I think.
Oh, okay, 224.
And
okay.
the reason they wait for that is because they need to see the new contracts that happen this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could be what it is, or it could go up a little bit, or it could go down theoretically, but I think it's going to go up.
Okay, so it went up about $16 million from a year ago, and what that means in terms of AAV for the 1 year, if you slapped him with this, it could be 32.4, probably more in the neighborhood of 34.
Yeah.
All right, that's the boring numbers, whatever. What's important to me for this is, number one, there's a good chance that you retained, a very good chance you retained Daniel Jones without giving him all the guaranteed money that I would give him, but I'm not 100% sure I want to give him.
You still need a prove it year.
Just a little more.
You need
just a tick more.
You need a beyond the benefit of the doubt year.
Just a taste. Just a little more. Just a taste, right? And so that's the first aspect. And if somebody I won't even say that's not the right word.
Yeah,
I was
it's
going to
not
say so
cavalierly.
cavalierly.
Yeah,
That's not fair. But if somebody values him a little bit more
desperately.
maybe an element of desperation, and they go above and beyond that, and he goes to that team, Giants get 2 first-round picks. Giants have holes everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Jones is not one of them. But I'm on the record that even if you give him the big money and aren't able to plug in a lot of holes, it's not a diss, it's an acknowledgement, I don't know where you go as a franchise. I want to keep Daniel Jones. But if somebody's going to give him $40 million and I can get 2 first-round picks, I got to be honest, that's intriguing to me.
I don't mind that, actually. But I don't want it to happen because I don't want to start over.
Gotcha.
I'm so tired of being mediocre as a team, right? And the Giants are an organization that it's only, I think, allowable for a certain amount of years. And we finally have stepped out of it. I don't feel like starting over with a new young quarterback.
I understand. I got it. 877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney on the Fan. Good Friday morning to everybody. We're inside of our Town Fair Tire studio. Our friends at Town Fair remind you that you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Somebody brought some sort of germ into the studio. Me and you were both, our throats are sore. We're sucking down cough drops to start the show, but we're good to go. Let's get Mike in Ridge. What's going on, Mike? How are you?
What's up, Mike?
What's up, guys? Dude, are you guys saying Daniel Jones is a potential top 10 quarterback?
Yes. We've been saying that.
You said that he could be the best quarterback in the division over Hurts?
Yes. Are you an Eagles fan?
You just saw the game. No, I'm a Jets fan, but you just saw the game, Hurts versus Jones. Jones threw over 200 yards like 3 times this year in a simplified offense. The guy was almost out of his starting position before the season. He had a good season. How is he top 10?
You got to see forward. You got to see the future. Now the Eagles, I mean, this comes off what Julian Love said. The Eagles led the league in sacks this year. They had 70. They were 2 off the Bears' 85 record. The Eagles against the New York Giants in that playoff game pressured Daniel Jones 16 out of 27 dropbacks. I mean, it's like 70-something% of every time Daniel Jones went back to drop back. And that's not just I'm going back 5 or 7 steps. That's like a 3-step drop. He's getting pressure.
What would happen if you did that to Mahomes? What would happen if you did that to Patrick Mahomes?
He would be flustered. He would be flustered. He would be, dinking and dunking. He'd be finding a way to try.
Patrick Mahomes has a perfect passer rating against the blitz in his career, nearly perfect.
But is he
half the time as most
but Mike, you're going to have to empirically.
Daniel Jones to a top 10 quarterback is insanity.
Okay, Mike, hold on. Give me your top 10 right now in the NFL.
Oh, we're getting the list.
Give me your top 10.
Going to the list early.
I'm not saying he's top 5. I'm not saying he's Jalen Hurts. I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes or Burrow or Josh Allen or I mean, I'd probably stop there. This is really the top. I'm not comparing him to those guys. I'm talking about the Dak Prescotts of the world. I'm talking about the Kirk Cousins of the world, who, by the way, both of those guys are top 10 quarterbacks, whether you want to acknowledge that or not, right? It's just a fact.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. They're paid that way. Okay, then give me your top 10 list. Give me your top 10 list. Mike, give me your top 10 list.
Go ahead, Mike.
I got the first 5 in order. The rest of 5 I don't have.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I got Mahomes, Allen, Burrow. Guess you could put Herbert and.
Hey, we're already searching.
It's a little bit harder than you think, isn't it?
Keep going there, Mike.
It's a little bit hard. So when I say top 10, it sounds like, man, that's a lot.
Yeah, Tiki's out of his mind.
No way he's top
nuts.
10. But the reality is, Mike, and this is just the truth of the NFL. Appreciate your call, man. The truth of the NFL, there are not a lot of good quarterbacks.
It's a big problem.
I'm just saying.
I'm with you.
So when I say Daniel Jones is going to be a top 10 quarterback, yes, it's part because Daniel Jones has improved significantly. And as soon as they get protection, 72% of the dropbacks against the Eagles, he was pressured on.
It's repulsive.
It's like, are you kidding me?
It's not sustainable. Nobody's winning there.
I don't care who you are, you're not doing well. But the reality is there aren't a lot of good quarterbacks in the NFL. Do I trust Dak Prescott? Hell no. Is he a top 10 quarterback? Probably. In a lot of people's estimations.
I'm not sure if he's top 10 right now for me.
He
had a rough season.
Let's do the list, right? Do the list.
Well, Mike's the one who wanted to hit. Oh, you wanted to hit. You actually said the list. All right.
Yeah, but the list is not.
Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Herbert. You can nitpick a little bit. Herbert's 4, whatever. Russell Wilson was awful. He's not on the list.
Yeah.
You want to throw Geno at number 10? I'm just kind of piecing things together. Guys who had good years. Well, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Are we incorporating a little bit of history or just this past season?
It's what you just saw and what you think is going to happen going forward.
Where do you place Tua?
Tua's not in my top 10.
Oh, I agree. I'm going to hit with some options here.
I just don't think he's going to be consistently available. And there were too many question marks in the second half of the season.
We forgot Lamar. That's ridiculous. We forgot
he's an MVP.
Lamar's on the list.
But his lack of availability bothers me. He's still top 10.
Yeah, okay. We'll give him that pass.
There's nobody in the South, the NFC South that you're looking at.
Yep.
I mean,
Trevor Lawrence. You know what? Who do you like better, Lawrence or Danny?
Lawrence because of
Lawrence is amazing.
But
he's going to be amazing.
Is he a top 10 quarterback yet? Are you saying Trevor Lawrence is a top? The answer is no.
But I would say that I think Trevor Lawrence, and I'm with you. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to battle you. I'm with you.
Even if I give
Trevor Lawrence is going to have a phenomenal career.
Even if I give you Trevor Lawrence,
we're still piecing.
You're still not getting to 10.
Well, here's where Mike messed up. No, I got you. By the way, I got you. But here's where Mike messed up. All right. Mike, well, first of all, he messed up twice. When we gave him the platform to give us 10, he just started hemming and hawing at 4. And Mike, I'm a fellow Jets fan. Come on, dude. If you're going to bring it, you got to bring it.
Yeah.
So that's number 2. But number 1, because before that, he said, and I wrote it down, Hurts versus Jones. No, that's not how it works. How it works is Hurts versus the Giants defense, and you incorporate the weapons that Hurts has. Mm-hmm. And also goes Jones versus Philly's defense with the weapons that Jones has.
Yeah.
And yes, there's an element of extrapolation. Well, if Jones has this, and then we can maybe deduce that, and we push it here. Yeah, so it's not a foolproof recipe. Daniel Jones had nothing this season.
Nothing.
How many times do we have to say it?
And look, I believe in coaching. I believe that coaching makes a difference. We've talked about this over and over and over again. People might hear it and just discount what we're actually saying, but having girls that do cheer and watching them do cheer, and they're in a great school down at CJA, and watching some of these other cheer schools that, you know, the things like they're disjointed, they're not on time, they don't hold their poses, they fall out of their pyramids, like all these little things that is purely coaching. So we're talking about 9 to 15-year-olds, right?
Yeah.
It's purely coaching. you see the difference from people who are coached well and who are not. You see it in wrestling. You see it in baseball. I'm talking about Little League. You see it in football. You see it in basketball. You see it everywhere. Why would it not apply in the NFL? The answer is it does apply in the NFL. And so when you see a Josh Allen who comes into the league from Wyoming and nothing he did at Wyoming translated to the NFL, guess what? His rookie season, he pretty much sucked. He 52% completion percentage. He had 10 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. But Brian Dable is just kind of like, you know what? Just run the ball a little bit. Go out there and use your athleticism. What did he do? He rushed for 630 yards and 8 touchdowns, right? And they weren't good, but he kind of felt confident in himself. The next year, they coached him up. He got a little bit better. 58% completion percentage. Wow, that 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He just kind of started taking baby steps, right? The next season, he's an MVP candidate, right? And he throws for 37 touchdowns. He became the man. So coaching matters. Daniel Jones is in a situation right now with the Giants, Mike Kafka, and more importantly, Brian Dable, where he is going to be coached into a top 10 quarterback. I believe that. I truly believe that. Maybe that's because I have blind faith in the Giants coaching staff. But I also know because of his skill set, he's 6'5". He's big. He doesn't have to move out of the pocket to see crossing routes and throws and digs over the middle. He can stand right where he needs to stand and deliver every single throw. And if he needs to run, he'll go run. He had 700 yards and 7 touchdowns this year. He can be if he keeps getting better, and I believe that he will because I just parsed it out. He is going to be the best quarterback in the NFC East. I know that Jalen Hurts is a stud. I know that he's amazing. Got all these accolades, but he's also got a lot around him. He's got a lot around him. Daniel Jones does not.
I like when Fired Up Tiki shows up to the station. Here we go. Fired Up Tiki.
Not fired up. I'm just speaking truth.
It's a good look right here. Hoff, what'd you give him today? What'd you give him before the show?
Well, the coffee's back.
Yes.
Yeah, it was out for a little bit. That's true. That is true. Tiki, I don't disagree. I don't. Now, how they determine his ultimate value, that I think you and I kind of branch into a little bit. But
that's the hard part.
Your premise is not wild. It's certainly not. 877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney on the Fan. More calls coming up.